Happy Friday, everyone.
Friday the 13th.
It is Friday the 13th. Raj Khedun, welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to be here, guys. Looking forward to it.
Raj, do they fuck around with Friday the 13th over there in the UK? Is that a thing over there?
Yeah, I guess some people are like a little bit superstitious, and of course the films are
Superstitious, yeah.
Yeah, they really know it.
Right,
More
okay.
so in America, I think, than UK.
Oh yeah, no, we're batshit crazy about Friday the 13th over here. It's all like,
And I think it was like, what was it, Knights Templar or something it's associated with. It's all these weird conspiracy theories and everything, too.
Yeah. We do love a good conspiracy theory on this side.
We love a good conspiracy theory.
Although I think that's infecting the rest of the world now. I think everybody's getting down with.
We've definitely infected the rest of the world.
Yeah. We've brought this craziness to everybody, right? So, Raj, we're going to get into what you do here today. We've actually never kind of gone down that rabbit hole before, but sleep in general. Let's just talk about how you got into it. Is this something that you've been doing your whole career, or how'd you get down the rabbit hole of sleep?
Well, it's a fantastic little story, and it's got some origins which are a little bit outside the box. So if you're okay with that, I know we're called the Irreverent Podcast.
So far, so good.
Yeah, you're checking all the boxes, Raj.
Right, we feel real good about what you're about to say. Then. Yeah.
I'm just gonna unleash, and as crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna join the dots to show you how we've gotten where we are today. So basically,
you got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just stop me if it gets too crazy, but it's all true. I mean, it's all everyone.
I highly doubt we're gonna stop.
Like, that's what we're here for, man. It's Friday the 13th. We have a weird ass show. Go.
Yeah. Right.
So basically, it all starts when I'm 3 years old. My mother takes me to kindergarten or nursery, as we call it in the UK, for the first time. And we enroll, we check out, the playgrounds, the classrooms, and we end up in the library. And the first two books I ever pick up off the bookshelf in this life, or this incarnation, was one book about dinosaurs and one book about planets. And for whatever reason, Tom, Matt, listeners, for whatever reason, these images are so deeply embedded in my memory. Like, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Right? It's like these images of dinosaurs and planets were so deeply embedded on my subconscious mind. They guided me more than my entire school education. And you might be thinking, well, what's the big deal? Well, dinosaurs because of evolution. I was curious about the evolution of animals and humans, and can humans evolve their own brains? And of course they can. That was a massive thing. And I had this voice going on in my head all the time talking about evolution, evolution, evolution. What is evolution? How does it work? Where's the system? Why is it hidden? Can it be modified? Can it be improved? How does it work? Right? Then the planets thing was about, okay, you've got these amazing planets, Jupiter spinning at 47,000 kilometers per hour. You've got Venus, you've got Mars, which is an empty planet next to Earth, which is full of life. Right? And all these things in between. And I'm thinking, how did these people say, oh, it's all nonsense, astrology, astronomy, yeah, it's, whatever. But no one ever talks about how they influence human beings properly. Like, if you say astrology, they all say it's nonsense and it's woo and it's rubbish and it's the stars and all that stuff. But the fact of the matter is, these orbs of power, of energy, are out there and they are doing something. Right? So if that helps paint the picture, evolution and planetary energies, what was going on in my 3-year-old little brain.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're not breaking apart planetary physics at 3.
No.
But you just got drawn to it as, right, okay. So, like, when you say it influenced you more than anything else, like, what do you think made you keep coming back to those images? Like, is it just this idea that there was something more there that you were trying to pull apart?
Exactly. I just felt like there's something here. There's something for me, which is hidden and no one's talking about it. And I'm going to find out.
Cool.
That was the determination I had. It was a fun, curious adventure as a kid. And I was the one who would always ask questions to everyone about everything. And they'd all think I'm mad or I'm crazy or I should, There's no answers to your questions, Raj. Stop asking silly questions. But even though I stopped, I had to close my mouth because we're good boys. Asians are quiet and they listen to their parents, right? And they don't try to upset the apple cart. But the voices kept going on and on and on and on, and I couldn't stop myself reading the books, studying, thinking about it. And things came to a head when, believe it or not, I went to India for the first time when I was 18, right? This is where things take a bit of a turn. So it's going to be perfect for your podcast. But yeah, what happens is my mum says she's a bit adventurous, quite open-minded. She says, would you like to go to India? And I'm like, no, why would I want to go there? It's full of like strange things and people standing on one leg and weird stuff and poor people and whatever. And she goes, oh, but you're quite adventurous. You're quite open-minded, aren't you? You know, you ask all these questions. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I remember Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. He went to India, right? And he's a cool anthropologist.
Yeah, maybe a little different kind of India. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But he's a cool anthropologist, archaeologist, and he goes on these amazing adventures around the world to uncover hidden artifacts and mysteries. And I thought, hey, you know what? That sounds cool. I'll do the Indiana Jones thing, go to India.
Only if you get a monkey with a little hat, you know, like that. That's sort of like that.
Yeah. So I go to India, and lo and behold, I meet an avatar, like a real avatar.
Mm.
I'm like trying to get my head around what is an avatar, right? You're familiar with the avatar concept from Avatar: Last Airbender.
Yes.
Right? You know, shape-shifting of elements and power over nature and all this stuff. And then James Cameron brings out his whole epic blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, this is all woo-woo nonsense. This can't be real. Like, it's not. But there you go. I meet this avatar in India. And he knows everything.
Wait, where can you fill us a little bit in on that, Raj? Because like
just hanging out.
Was this just some guru in the street? Was this you were at a temple? What's going on here?
Yeah, his name is Sai Baba. You can look him up on YouTube. He's very famous.
Okay.
So it's an actual.
Yes, very famous. Yeah,
very famous. And he's got this huge, beautiful ashram, 500-acre ashram in South India, Tamil Nadu. And I didn't know I was going to meet him. I just somehow ended up in this center, and he knew everything about me, everything. Right? He knew why I picked up those books from the bookshelf. He knew why I was having the curiosity. He knew everything. And I'm like, I'm dreaming. Like, how is this possible? How can someone who I've never met know everything about me? And he's like, listen, son, you don't need to worry about why we know everything about you and everyone. That's not for you to be concerned about. What's for you to be concerned about is your purpose and your mission in your life. Right? And he's like, you think because you read a few books in London, you think you know about life? You know nothing. You know nothing. You don't know where you've come from. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what life is all about. You don't know what happens when you die. You don't know how the earth was created. You don't know anything. Like, God, like, come on, I'm a kid. Like, I'm 18. You know? And he's like, but listen, son, avatars like us, we're not here to gatekeep anything. We are here to alleviate the suffering of humanity. And I'm like, okay. He says, you need to know the secrets of the universe. I'm like, secrets of the universe? He goes, yeah. And I'm like,
yes, please.
What is this? Anyway, he says, you've got to understand these things. Universal, unconditional love is the law of the universe. Unconditional love. Then he says, compassion, kindness, patience, and wisdom. Right? Unconditional love, kindness, compassion, patience, and wisdom. These are the underpinning of a proper human being. If you're not living by those standards, by those principles, you can't consider yourself a real human. And I'm like, what? I felt.
I'm doing exactly none of those things.
Exactly. I felt so useless.
Yeah.
In that moment, like my life is worthless. Right?
Yeah. Seems right.
Yeah.
I'm doing it wrong. Yeah.
Everything's wrong.
Kind of having those thoughts right now, Tom.
I've been asking that for 48 years, 49 years.
I was angry. I was upset. I felt like I'd been smacked to the ground, right? And I said, if this is so important, why don't they talk about it in the school system then? Well, they're not here to help you fulfill your potential as a human. They're not here to help you, do your part to renovate and do some great work in the world as a mission. They're not here for that. They're here to trap you in a matrix Rockefeller 9-to-5 wage slave model, right? And keep you trapped there until you die. Like, Jesus, so this matrix thing, we have to get out of here. And I'm like, oh God, all my schooling's redundant. The medical system's redundant. The money system, banking system, redundant. I'm getting very vexated by this, So then what happens? I go back to London and I go into monk mode for 20 years.
What?
Yeah.
What does that look like, man?
It, on the one hand, it's a blessing. On the other hand, it's a curse, man. Because I had to cut off.
Like monk mode, you meaning shave your head, throw on a robe, and meditate all day monk mode? Or what are we talking?
Going after the wisdom aspect of life. Like, what is wisdom? What do I think about? How do I think about it? How do I live? How do I conduct myself? How do I interact with other people? What should I think? This is the hardest, probably, lesson I've ever had. Because it was so counter to what everything I'd learned as a Londoner, an obnoxious, rude, materialistic Londoner, right? It was a hard lesson for me, I'll be honest. But I stuck with it. I cut off all media, TV, newspapers, music, all of it. And everyone thought I was mad, right? All my friends and everyone who were dating girls and drinks and doing whatever, they thought I was bonkers. So, I had a few friends who were a bit more open-minded about things, but not many, to be honest. And that's what shaped my life. And I started going deep into metaphysics, yoga, psychology, transcendental meditation, all these things. I became a vegetarian. I quit the McDonald's. I didn't drink. I didn't mess around with women. Look how crazy this gets, right? But I had to learn.
You're not the first person that we've talked to that has kind of done similar things. So like I'd say for myself,
some of them need to OD first, which is kind of good that you didn't go there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah, some of them had this revelation on the bathroom floor in a heroin overdose.
Yeah. In a drug-induced coma. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You took an easier route than that.
You had a more direct route.
But look what it took. It took like a slap or a punch to the face to floor me completely.
Yeah.
To make me.
But listen, Raj, let me ask you something, man. We have these conversations 2-3 times a week, right? And so any one of these things I can say in one way, shape, or form has punched me in the gut. I've actually had really transcendental moments on almost every show we've ever had, because there's always something that I'm like, fuck, I never thought of that. Like, and then all of a sudden it sends me in this rabbit hole that I'm like, okay, let me introspect. Let me figure this out, right? But candidly,
and it is painful. Raj is right. It is like a punch in the face.
It totally is.
It's a painful acknowledgement of something when I feel like you've heard something, I want to say, more truthful than your current operating system.
Yeah, but here's where I'm going with this, Raj. All those punches that I get every week that all change me for the better, none of them so far. I mean, today's not over yet, so it might happen today. But none of them have made me like go into monk mode, to use your words, right? Like I don't like what do you think made you so like reactive to that input that made you kind of like switch off for that?
That's a fantastic question, and I have the answer. The answer is this: when you grow up with your parents, right, as a kid, you psychically osmose their energy into yourself. It's a psychic osmosis. You don't even think about it. It's because of their electromagnetic field around their body. It contains their habits, their thoughts, their opinions, everything. You suck it up. You swallow it. You have no choice, right?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, that makes
sense. And then it comes to the question, okay, why am I karmically born to these particular parents? Oh my God, then you open up a whole nother can of worms, right? And I was like, so that's what happened. He transferred this knowledge to me with such impact and such force electromagnetically that I could not deny it. I knew it was true. deep down, even though.
And it was like more his presence than actually his words. Do you think? I mean, I've heard this about, what is Upanishad, sitting near devoted, right? Isn't that
Correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
I love when you pull shit out of your ass, Tom, that I'm like, where the fuck
all of a sudden I'm
from?
speaking some Sanskrit? What the fuck? The Upanishads are beautiful, man. It's a nice collection of stories. Yeah, good read.
I don't deny any of that. I'm just saying, like, it's funny. You like pull some random, you're like, all of a sudden,
I don't talk about what I know,
Yeah. Raj is like, I got that on my coffee table, brother. Like, it's cool.
I probably have it in arm's reach somewhere.
Yeah.
You're talking my language, right?
Oh, he's got it right there.
And there we go.
Yeah.
And when you say Upanishad, Upanishads means sitting down near. So sitting down near the feet of the master or the guru or the avatar. And when they project this energy into you, or their electromagnetic presence gets into you, their aura is so huge, you cannot deny the impact it's going to have on your mind and your thought seeds. We call thought seeds samskara, which you carry with you from life to life. So his power just was such a huge, like, boom, like straight in, like boom. And I'm like, okay, I know you're right. I know I'm wrong. So I need to change towards you. You're not going to change towards me.
No, I get it. But even reading like the Bhagavad Gita or something like that, like when I'm like, that was a really cool like introduction in my life, but it still didn't make me go into monk mode, right? Like, so I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, was this a reaction in your mind to like the things you felt were deficient in your world and you just wanted to right set that? And it just took 20 years to figure it out? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's a big commitment you gave to this thing.
I know. But
definitely.
The thing is, it linked back to my childhood memories with the planets and the dinosaurs. Because I wanted to know.
I get that.
I wanted to understand how these electromagnetic orbs were affecting human beings. Why is everyone so different? Even though we're made in the same image of God, why are we all so different? It was just intriguing to me. So I had to kind of I had to sit with that and really come to the commonalities of what is the truth of all human beings and sentient beings throughout the cosmos. Two constants remain. No one can argue with it. Consciousness and energy. Consciousness and energy. That is the absolute underpinning for everything in the universe.
I don't think I'd argue that.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, we've actually had people on the show phrase this various ways, but I think that's kind of what it all
at the core concept of it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Then when you realize that the template that we've been given as a human being with this infinite mind, it's the same template. The IP, the intellectual property of God, is amazing and it's infinite. But what do we fill the programming with? What is our, as Tom said, OS? What is our operating system that we fill it with, which now determines how we perceive the world, how we act, how we interact, how we react, and how we live our life. So it's all about the operating system that you deeply use and develop as your navigation system on this planet, in this life.
Sure.
So yeah, but I love the fact that.
So let me ask you a follow-up to that then, because we had, say, Emily Harrison on the show who did an Akashic record meditation with us on air, right? We weren't planning it. She just said, hey, you guys want to go take a trip into the Akasha? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was a great experience. And I think, we've talked about Akashic records and soul families and a bunch of this kind of ideas that, thought seeds have come up before as well. Like, I mean, we've had these conversations, but I think for a lot of people, the operating system isn't fleshed out with these bits of information because of a couple reasons. One being, the biggest one is it's just a lot of information that I don't think most people really want to spend the time to understand. And here you go spending a lot of time doing that. So once you come back from that, I mean, do you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I think I finished? Like, or it's like, like, how do you know you're done? And then the last part of that is, what do you do with it? Like, great, you spent this time, you got the answers. Now what?
That's a beautiful question. It's a great, adventurous question. And I got the answer for you. This is where,
love it.
For me,
do it.
I'll do it. This is where you begin to realize life really is a magical adventure. It really is. Because when you grow up in school, and even now in the school system, still struggle with this point. Is life real or is it fiction? What is real? What isn't real? Is it an illusion or not? Very few people can come to you and actually tell you the real answer, right? The truth is, I'll tell you the truth first, and then we'll go back to answer your question. This is it's all a fantasy. It's all a fantasy dream. And whoever did.
I'm not going to even argue that point.
Well, I mean, how many people from quantum physics now are saying, yes, this is definitely a simulation. And what is a simulation but a contrived system that we all agree on, which is exactly what a fantasy is.
The avatars say it's all a game. It's all a game, and you're here to win it, not lose. You're here to win. So when I think about it,
all right, well, I'm playing wrong then.
Me too. I was playing wrong for so long, and I deep down in the soul is extremely intuitive. Agama, they call it in Sanskrit, intuition. We all have it. But when your soul knows you're playing wrong, you're saying, I got to get my navigation sorted quick because I'm making mistakes left and right, and I'm going to pay the karma for that. I'm going to pay for that rebound karma, and we don't want that, right? So to answer your question.
So hold on real quick, just point of clarity on that piece. Like when you say pay the karma, are you talking about like your next incarnation, you take a step backwards or take several steps backwards?
Exactly. Exactly. So when you look at the differences in human lives and human circumstances, you see some are rich, some are poor, some are strong, some are weak. I've studied this so carefully from the karmic standpoint of autonomous law, which does not require my opinion. It doesn't require our opinion. Cosmic law is not to be messed with, right? It will, like when you're reborn and you're born disabled, with all respect, you're born with this issue which cannot be solved because of karma. Man, you don't want to get into that. You don't want to get into that because no one could heal you. You're going to be a burden on your parents for the rest of your life. They're never going to be happy because they have to look after you and blah, 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 blah. So many different things. You do not want to get into a negative karmic cycle. It'll just hold you back. It will hold others back as well, in a way. So, you know what I mean? So we have to understand ourselves as autonomous, independent creatures, complete within ourselves, and we are responsible for our actions, and we can choose our own will, our own decision making. So that's critical. So to answer your question, Matt, now you say, okay, I did monk mode 20 years. What do I do with it? All right. Here's the key. What you see around you, what people call air, it's not just air. It's constituted of three critical components. 1, light. 2, electricity. 3, magnetism. Light, electricity, and magnetism. Right? We are swimming in this light, electricity, and magnetism 24/7, whether we are conscious of it or not. Right? Now, this is where we leverage this energy, this power, through our nervous system and our brain, through special breathing methods. When you do that, you start to leverage this power into your brain and open up that capacity of your brain, which probably 90% is dormant. It's never used. Right? And here's the trick. Kids can learn breathing techniques to open their brain up as kids. Just imagine how much intelligence and confidence and wisdom they would have as a 12-year-old if they've been practicing breathing methods since the age of 5 or 6. See how ahead of the curve they would be, not just in education, but in wisdom, which transcends time. They could make better decisions. They could create systems that help humanity. They could solve social causes like homelessness or drug addiction or other things. So many things you could do when your brain is actually firing on all cylinders or more cylinders than what we're given.
Right.
Yeah. So to answer your question.
And is that sort of a transcendence of even a flow state, even a really articulate flow state, right? Like this is sort of like a notch or 5 above that kind of thing, or is that what we're talking about here?
When you take in like what I do, and I teach people this all the time, when you do the 3-3 method, which I engineered a few years back, what it does, it easily, quickly opens up the brain capacity, right? And where I used to have a very closed mind, or like only 10% operating, bit of survival and a bit of creativity, not much. But when I use a breathing method, so my brain cells began to start sparkling and brightening up and opening up, I was like, oh my God, where was all this knowledge hiding all these years? Right? I was distracted by this and this and this. It's only because I went into monk mode and I studied this carefully. All this potential is hidden and locked up in our brain, right? But who teaches us how to access it?
No one.
Yeah, no. See, this feels to me, again, and this is what I love about learning all this stuff as we do here, is that this feels a lot like you say it's locked in your brain. Emily says it's in the Akashic record. Bob Dylan says he wrote all of his songs from the, because he had access to the Akashic, right? You know, like we just have like words, different ways of describing what I think is fundamentally the same thing.
Yes.
Maybe being understood or described differently by different people, but like this idea that it exists at all, I share your fascination with. I'm not sure I would go into monk mode for any amount of time, to be honest, so let alone 20 years, but I do like taking the shortcut and talking to you about it.
Absolutely.
You know, like, because it is fascinating, because if it is there, what could we all do?
Exactly.
If it was on.
Yeah, what is the true potential?
Exactly. And here's what I'll tell you. Again,
that's terrifying, by the way.
God. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Because it just completely shatters all of your preconceptions of what you thought you knew and who you think you are. Right? If you ask me, I can never be offended by anyone who says anything about me. Why? Because I know who I am. I know that, as we all are, we are infinite cosmological super beings. That's the truth. It doesn't matter what anyone says about that. That is your true identity.
No, now you sound like Dave the Mystic. You know,
we can't make it a show without talking about Dave the Mystic for some reason.
Yeah, we had Dave on the show. He was great. And he do you know Dave? Because I feel like you should know him.
I should know. I don't know.
You guys would get along famously.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, I feel like I am, like, only when I reflect on it, I said, oh, shoot, I sound like an infomercial. You know, I sound like one of those gurus who are on American TV, whatever. But
Yeah.
You know, but the point is this.
No, but like it's yeah, good.
So when you mentioned those names, did you say, was it Bob Dylan, or you mentioned someone else with the Akashic Records?
Yeah, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
So when we talk about, not everyone can access the Akashic Records. Not everybody has that kind of ability to perceive those higher realms of vibration. However, what I do, which is really exciting, I teach people to use electromagnetism to open the brain to release endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, which are feel-good happy hormones, as you know, and release anandamide. A lot of people don't know what anandamide is, right?
They didn't have a name for it until 91.
Talk to the acupuncturist in the room. He'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this is, and honestly, you got the two right people. So a lot of the way acupuncture works is stimulating anandamide. Right. And then Matt owns headshop.com, which, I mean, basically serves exogenous endocannabinoids right up to the same receptors in your brain, which is pretty interesting.
Yes. Exactly. So anandamide, as you know, bliss molecule, exists in every human brain. But, you know, the ability to access it quickly and easily, this is where the technology of neuroscience, wisdom, plus modern adaptation for the busy person comes into play here, which is what I'm going to show you in a minute. So it's for me, and I hope for everyone, they're excited about leveraging the power of electromagnetism through their brain to develop knowledge quickly with intuition, which means they don't have to study books endlessly. No, forget that. All the knowledge you want is inside you already, in your brain, in your heart, in your mind. It's already there. You just need to tap into it with the right sequence that unlocks it for you and presents it in front of your own mind.
You know, it's funny. I love everything about what you're saying, and I want it to be so true. Trust me. And we're going to keep talking about this. But here's you got to run into this all the time, right? I make technology for people that helps them do whatever they're trying to do, right? And in almost every case, if they were to just do it, and there's a lot of barriers to it, time, money, knowledge, right, whatever, right? But if they were to do a lot of these things, it would open up a lot of doors for them. Even when all the stars align, they have all the money, the time, and everything lined up. The number one thing that messes people up is I think they just don't want to succeed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think people are programmed to not want to succeed. And again, this sounds fucking bananas to say out loud, but like I noticed this with clients for 25 years. Like it's like they can't help themselves. It's like, no, you're right here. You're on the finish line. All you got to do is take one step forward. They're like, I'm just going to fall backwards instead. You're like, why would you do that? And so if you told somebody all the reasons that you failed were no one's fault, no one's thing, it's all inside your head, people's heads would probably explode.
Yeah. This is such an amazing, topic. I'll probably be here with you for hours. But the thing is this. There is a systematic hierarchy and there's a system which you can actually put into practice to see if you're moving forwards or backwards and to see if the decisions that you are making are propelling your evolution forward or are you regressing yourself?
Is this like a cosmic yardstick or something here? It's like, yeah, what are we?
Exactly.
Raj, I'm a gadget guy. If there's
I love tech. I'm a very tech person, like through and through.
Is there an app for this, Raj? Because if there is, I'm fucking downloading it today. Nah.
We've got to work together.
And if you want to develop one, that's your guy.
Yeah, I'm like, I want the app now.
We got to work together and bring this thing out because it will. Even people like Tony Robbins would just love this because I want this thing in my organization. This guy's work together. He's worth $12 billion, right? So let's do something and all be happy with our using the money for social causes or whatever we want to do. But the thing is this, there is a cosmic hierarchy and it goes like this. It's sixfold. First you have the spirit, then the soul, then the mind, right? Now, here's where it gets very, very tricky. In school, they never talk about the mind ever. You never get a single hour of instruction in your entire life about what is the mind? Is the mind there? Does it exist? How should I use it? You know nothing about that. And there's a reason why they're not telling you, or if they don't know. I find it very difficult to believe that they don't know. This is freaking unbelievable that they don't know.
What's the reason?
Control. Limitation.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So when we have the spirit, the soul, the mind, we all have that. Now, what happens is there's a magnet. There's a magnet that goes up or goes down. Now, if you choose the magnet for it to stay up, you're staying in contact with the soul and the spirit. If you flip it down, you're going to be attracted to the body, the senses, and the world, and you're going to lock yourself out of the higher vibrations. And you're going to stay there until you flip that magnet. It's going to keep you either gravitating downwards or gravitating upwards. You can choose. You have a choice. Now, because it's not talked about, people don't know, are they looking up or are they looking down? When they say everything's going south, what does that mean? It means everything's going down. Wrong, right? It means the magnet is flipped downwards. So you think your reality is the body, the senses, and the world. And that is only 10% of your reality in truth. In truth, your reality is coming all the time from the higher mind, the soul, and the spirit, which is infinite. And it doesn't matter what anyone says. It's not about my opinion. This exists. It's real. It's happening right now. So until the school system and society accept this hierarchy, which is within yourself, there's always going to be conflict. Some people are looking from the magnet flipped down, and others are looking from the magnet flipped up. That's why there's such a variance in viewpoint, opinion. What is right? What is wrong? Should I follow the Bible? Should I not follow the Bible? It's old, it's religious, it's nonsense. No, but look carefully at the cosmic principles at play. Then you get your answer.
But I think that the hard part listen, even for me, and I think we are an example of a much wider open consciousness than like the average bear, as it were. It's even hard for me to sort of ground some of these things because I'm 49, and for 49 years, like Tom said, we've been fucking had this shit shoved down our throat one way, and it didn't seem weird, right? It felt like just normal, right? And then as soon as you start to realize that there's things that could be optimized, and I think really the wording here is important for me anyway, to say like, it's not necessarily that I'm trying to transcend or, enlighten or anything. I'm just trying to optimize, right? Bit by bit, I'm trying to get better at this, a little better at that. But if you don't have a roadmap for that, all you have is intuition. And paradoxically, if your magnet's flipped upside down, the intuition is kind of blocked and you can't really rely on that either, right? So it does become a bit of a sticky wicket in the sense that you're like, fuck, I don't know how to start to just sort of get out of that southbound draw.
Yes, very well said. Listen, I understand that. I understand the trick. It's very difficult. It's like gravity, right? How hard is it to bust out of gravity? You need a huge amount of thrust, right, for a rocket ship to burst out of the Earth's gravity. It's so heavy, it pulls you down. And that's why
in the Jetsons, the only thing we don't have is the fucking flying cars. Like we have everything else.
Everything else.
We have everything else.
That's
it's
why,
a goddamn gravity.
That's why when you think about it, when you think like, look at the life of Jesus and say, why is he so compassionate for everyone? Why? He knows why they're stumbling blind. He doesn't blame them. Because the reason why we don't judge, we don't condemn, forget that. The reason is this. When you think about it, this drama, this dream drama, and all its troubles and all this cancer and all this stuff, he didn't have to do it. It's a hobby. It's a game. It's an entertainment. That's all it is. That's why people are stuck. They're lost. They're confused. They're lonely. They're dying, whatever. It's not real. It's not real. But you can't tell them who are suffering that it's entertainment because they will hate you for saying that.
Yeah.
Sure.
It doesn't feel like entertainment to me, Raj. What the hell are you talking about? Get out of here, right? But it is. I hope that people use electromagnetism to open up their brain to feel happy, strong, and healthy. I've not been to a doctor for 25 years. Not taken a single medicine. I had a headache, an ultrasound, an X-ray, an MRI. Doctors hate me because they're like, why are you making this so light and easy, Raj? Like, you never get sick. You never have a disease. You never get a flu. Nothing. Well, how do you do it? I said, it's so simple. It's easy. I'm just harnessing electromagnetism through my brain, through a specific breathing sequence, and it charges me up.
Yeah, I'm sure that's popular at parties with a lot of doctors.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when I go into the science of it, you've heard of Wim Hof and those guys, right? The Iceman, have you heard?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Some people haven't. I don't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You'd have to be living under a rock to not hear about that guy.
Well, I think given our interests, it would be very bizarre if we didn't hear him.
Yeah.
I also just stopped doing cryotherapy at my office, but we still have a cold plunge. So, cold exposure therapy we've been doing for quite a long time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. And he talks about, inflammatory responses. And we found the quickest way to reverse inflammation, which is basically acidity in the blood, which creates all these diseases. We alkalize the acidity in the blood. How? Again, by using the breath through the brain. That's how you alkalize the bloodstream, by releasing all the hormones. And you'll be amazed how quite serious diseases can be reversed with 3 months of help, coaching, therapy, or maybe 6 months. You'd be amazed how quick.
When Wim first advanced that idea, I was like, really, like, it's an exciting idea, right? Like, I can just lower my pH by breathing, and you're like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's actually test it. And then he did and can prove it. And that's when I'm like, wow. So like, how hard is that? Like, is he a biological mutant? Like, is he because we know that Wim's a little off.
Well, he actually like some of the studies they did, and this is where it gets like, how good were the studies? Was it a big enough sample size? But he took some people, and I think it was like a 2 to 4 hour training. And they even injected, I think, something that would mimic symptoms of having a common cold. And he was able to drive it out of his body.
Yeah,
and I believe a lot of his students could too. Once again, I don't think it was a big sample size, but it was certainly interesting enough to take a bigger look at.
Well, and then Wim's got weird distribution of brown adipose tissue, and there was a whole bat study that he had participated in. So he might have a bit
genetic
of a biological
mutation
there, right? And so, but I guess my point, my question there, Raj, is when you see these kinds of things, I'd love to reduce it all down to just breathe better and fucking disease goes away. But reality, what's the larger Venn diagram here? It's not just breathing. It's not. I mean, it feels like there's a lot of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what it is, right? And guys, if we do something in the future, I would love for you to test what I do with people that you know. That would be the ultimate.
We love testing stuff out, Raj. We'll set up the follow-up right now. We'll end this podcast and we'll start a business meeting.
All right, that was fun, guys. Have a good day. Raj, hang up.
I love the science. I love the neuroscience. I've studied this for 35 years. I've met an avatar, right? I know all the fun and games is amazing. I love that. But I still have a mission on this earth before I die to help heal as many people as I can and help them sleep better. And deep sleep brings rejuvenation of emotion, mental cognition, physical energy, and joy and peace and bliss with your family, with your kids, with your community. That is so important, so important. That
and I don't want to say your life mission is easy to trivialize it, but if you got really quality good sleep, all of those other things that you mentioned,
they line up.
They fall into place almost automatically.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's, like it feels very much like that is the root of every look. I went out to a concert last night. I stayed up a little late, maybe had an extra glass of wine I shouldn't have had, kind of thing. And as a result, I woke up this morning a little tired, right? Like, nothing catastrophic. We weren't talking bachelor party in Atlantic City level, but like, I could have gone to bed earlier, right? And like, so today I was a little off in the morning, and then, cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee, you're back to normal and everything's good. But there's no mystery there, right? Like if I wanted today to go smoother in the morning, I probably should have gone to bed an hour earlier, right? Like for me anyway, it's like a lot of times it's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you're right. But the other lifestyle factors, which if you got your guys and you said, okay, Raj, we're going to do this, either privately or on a live or whatever, I would show you that there are certain lifestyle factors that I can pinpoint very quickly, very accurately, and tell them exactly what to do. 2 weeks from
like what? Just do you have a hypothetical here or something that you can kind of just?
I do this with my clients all the time. So basically, the biggest things you want to look at is first the breath, number one, hands down, because that quickly releases all the brain hormones that we talked about. So we want people to start feeling good quickly, so that okay, that's how it works. Oh, that's flow state. Oh, that's meditation. Oh, I'm sleeping better. Quickly, we get that done. Then we look at diet. We try to minimize red meat. Try to get you towards a more plant-based diet, because that is incredibly helpful. Right? By default, if you're eating more vegetation, you're taking in more minerals and more vitamins overall. So that makes perfect sense. Drink a decent amount of water. Don't have to get too crazy about it. Next, we look at lifestyle factors. How's your mindset? Are you thinking positive or negative mainly? What's your belief system? We look into that because that affects the physiology tremendously. And then other things are exercise. Like do at least 30 minutes exercise a day, at least. Whether it's treadmill, walking up a hill, or Tai Chi, or swimming, or cycling, whatever you want to do, at least 30 minutes a day, at least. Once you've got those factors in place, it's very difficult for you to get sick. Very difficult. And that's where I'd love, if you want to challenge me, you want to bring on very difficult cases for me, I'm more than happy to do it.
That's fun. That's a fun challenge. I might look into that for you. But here's the problem, and I think a lot of people that we run into would fall into this, is like, that all sounds like effort. It's much easier just to pop a pill, right? Like,
there is this kind of, I guess you could do that. Yeah. But my doctor gave me this bottle.
Yeah. And told me to take 3 a day, right?
Yeah. But,
talk to me real quick about the vegetarian thing. I don't want to dwell on this, but like, it is not uncommon to have this be suggested. And I'm just curious, what is it with the vegetarian thing that people gravitate towards? Because like, there's studies all over the place that, I don't want to say disproves it, but just there's studies that say like, it's not impossible to be super healthy and also eat meat, right? Like it's not, so I guess
it isn't, but like I will say though, there is, and this is not talked about a lot, there's a lot of studies on plant-based diets that support it being superior as well. It's something, for sure. As a meat eater, it's something I'm not happy about either, but I can't deny that.
Well, it's not that I'm happy or not, because I've done vegetarian for a while. And like, honestly, like, I think I've talked about this on the show, but like I went, what was it? Furman, like the Furman diet. I tried that for 30 days. And I don't know, Raj, if you've ever seen this, but Furman is like this cardiologist who's like a hardcore vegetarian guy. And like, we ran into friends at Wegmans shopping for Furman, and he goes, did you guys get like an alpaca or something that you have to feed? Because our grocery basket was overflowing with vegetables. And I don't know that I've ever felt worse in my life than that month, like because I felt like I had no energy. I had brain fog all day. All the things that were supposed to go away by eating vegetarian, I got in spades. Like it doubled down. And as soon as I had a steak, I kid you not, I had a steak like the day, like after the month was over and we were done with all the food. And I felt instantly 100% better. Like I'm not fucking around. Like I was really, I was pulling for it because I don't know. I thought it was going to be healthier and I thought it'd be better. I just could not function. Like,
Wow, that
full
is
stop.
so interesting. But listen, I'm gonna give you the science where the deep knowledge about vegetarianism comes from, right? This master,
yeah, lay it on me.
Yeah, this master he talks about why red meat is not suited for humans, and he talks about the teeth.
Okay.
The design of the teeth is mainly their molars, which are very blunt. They're mainly for chewing seeds and nuts and roots and fruits and things like that. They're not designed for,
yeah, I've heard this argument too.
Yeah, they're not designed for tearing flesh like tigers have lots of sharp teeth. So they're designed for tearing flesh. Human teeth are not designed for tearing flesh. So also he talks about the length of the intestine. You may or may not know this. Human intestine is pretty long, about 15 meters, right, all coiled up. But in a tiger, it's like a third of that, or a quarter of that. Why? The transit time for meat is very long in humans, so there's fermentation happening in the intestines of the red meat molecules that don't digest well. So over a period of years, it causes all kinds of, inflammation, gut issues, Crohn's disease, cancers, colon cancers, these kinds of things that are not normally detected. But when you have bad breath and you have sluggishness and constipation, that's, it's time to kind of, you're not just going to take your laxative. You need to kind of look at your diet as a more sustainable way to keep your digestive tract healthy. So he's mentioned this at length, and these are great masters, right? And they know the physiology better than we do.
I've heard, I haven't heard the fermentation thing, although now that you're saying that, that makes actual sense. I mean, I get that. I have definitely heard the teeth thing. That's a very common thing. But then we also talked about evolution, back to your dinosaur thing. Like I'm not really necessarily sure we needed to have tiger canines. You know what I mean? Like we weren't really on that path. And maybe we were just erroneously eating meat 2 million years ago as well. We just, as a habit, we haven't kicked.
That's a rough one too. Also, part of it is cooking. We cook stuff, and our masseter muscles prior to that, so going back, when Homo sapiens first kind of hit the scene, our jaws would have been massive as far as musculature. And I'm not saying you're wrong, Raj. I'm just saying there's a lot of nuance there.
Well, that's why I keep coming back to let's all be vegetarians. And I'm like, all right, well, what's your version of why we should do that? Because I'm actually just genuinely curious, because it does seem to be a recurring theme.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that,
and especially in the arena of enlightenment, I guess. Well, I don't want to reduce everything to one common concept, but it seems to be around that.
Yeah. I mean, I can talk from experience. I used to eat meat. I used to have fast food like everybody else until a certain age, like 20, 21, 22. I started to cut it out bit by bit just to experiment and see, do I thrive? What happens to the physiology when you take a more whole food or plant-based diet? And what I noticed is that my energy was better. I was able to sleep less and feel more. My digestive system was regular every day, like clockwork. Spots and acne and things like that went away. Bad breath went away. I just felt better overall. And I just know that if I go back to a meat diet again, those things are going to, those conditions, which are for me inferior. Don't want to offend anyone, of course.
Sure, of course.
But I don't want to.
Well, believe me, we will offend our own people all the time. So please don't worry about anybody listening to this is used to it.
This is why I was confused when doctors say, "Oh, have 2 glasses of red wine with your meal," and I'm like, "Well, what do the yogis, the metaphysical masters, say? Like, tell us the true metaphysics reasons why you shouldn't drink. What about cohabitation with a woman or whatever? Let's hear it from those guys." I'll put my own opinions aside and say, "Look, I don't care about my opinion. I want to know what they say." And why is it superior?
Well, okay, let me ask you a question there. Why do you care what they say? Like, I mean, what makes their opinion more valuable than yours? I mean, you seem to have put in the work, dude.
No, because
You know?
they understand the structure of what a human being really is, and I don't. So a human being is not a physical body.
Even after 20 years a monk, you
Oh
still
man,
don't have a
listen,
better
I have
idea?
a lot to learn still. I have a lot to. I'm still a
Yeah,
student.
okay.
I'm a
Well, I
student
mean,
to
well,
being-
listen, we're all learning, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah,
But a human being is 10% physical. Astral body is just behind it, which is thousands of times bigger. The astral body.
sure. Yeah,
Behind that is the causal body, which is even bigger. And that has unlimited power. Right? The yogis know they can create solar systems in the causal field. Right? In the astral body, you're in a heavenly state where you could do so many things. You have so much freedom. But in the physical body, you're extremely limited in what your power is. So that's why, you talk about these masters. Well, they've transcended all three bodies: physical, astral, causal, and then beyond that. So like, man, I want to be there. So that's why.
sure. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. I was like, I agree with you. I want to be there. I just think the work to kind of figure out how these things all fit together is not even close to a straight line. So I think a lot of the work that I've been personally doing over the last several years is just trying to figure out what the line even looks like. I know it's not straight. Okay, so there's not a straight line. So what the hell does the line even look like? And I think that part is, I think it's intrinsically N of one, right? It's just we all have our own version of that line. But I also think that there are certain right and wrong answers, right? Like, to your point, maybe drinking wine isn't part of the right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is for this guy, maybe it isn't for that guy. I don't really know, but I do know that asking the question is part of my line, right? And no one told me I even needed to ask the question. And then when I learned I had to ask the question, then that just fucked my whole world up, because now I have to ask questions about everything.
I'm going to give you an insight to that, Matt. And Tom, I'm sure you're going to be equally intrigued. So human beings, when they're first born without limbs, there is an embryo. They just have a brain and a spine, right? Brain and spine.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any limbs yet. Now, why is this so important? Why? Because as you're familiar with the concept of Kundalini and chakras. So Kundalini, it's a straight line to the crown chakra, which we all have. But it's also a wavy line because it's an electrical movement of energy through the energy centers or chakras. So to answer your question, is it a straight line? Yes. Is it a circle? Yes. It's both.
Yeah. Right.
It's both a particle and a wave.
Yeah, right.
So it's energy and consciousness dancing together. And we are all energy and consciousness dancing together. That's why it's both a line and a circle.
Yeah. So then I guess my question is like, let's bring it down to earth for a second, almost literally. But like, you spend all this time, you sort of you're out in the cosmos and you bring it back in and you're like, sleep will help people. Like, how it seems to me like all this other stuff you're talking about might be more interesting with greater effect than just sleep. Like, why limit ourselves to sleep? Or is it just easy for us non-transcended humans to kind of put our heads around?
Yeah, is it the doorway? Yeah.
Look, this is a brilliant question. Now, the secret is this. When you sleep, all the energy retires to the spine and the brain. All the energy that you have retires to the spine and the brain. Why? To recharge you. So doctors, I deal with sleep specialists and therapists all over the world. We're doing collaborations with sleep clinics in America. And they still don't understand how this works and what is the process of, pulling energy back from the senses when you sleep. Unconsciously, your energy goes back to the spine and the brain. Why? To recharge you, to heal you, to give you downloads from different dimensional realms, to make you creatively happy, to make you feel satisfied. So they don't talk about that aspect of the energy going through the spine and the brain when you sleep. And that's what happens when you sleep. That's why it's so key. So what we do is we help to speed up the onset of sleep consciously with a simple, easy, elegant process, like the Rolls-Royce breathing techniques. So people feel, because it's luxurious. It makes you feel amazing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like releasing DMT from your brain or taking DMT without the DMT. if that makes sense. Yeah.
Is it bad to say I would rather have the DMT? No. Yeah. I'm like, no, just give me the DMT. It's way easier.
But once again, that kind of gets back to the whole concept that I'd rather take a pill than actually do something to increase my health,
Sure.
right? I mean, this is just an extension of that kind of argument. I'm not anti-psychedelics by any means.
Yeah.
No, but like some of this stuff too, Raj, I take for granted too, because like largely because of my interests, but the interest spawned the show. The show gave me more data for my interest. And now I have a very, very elaborate morning routine that I don't really vary from that does a lot of these things. There's meditation, there's breath work, there's binaural audio, there's, you know, neuroplastic
audio,
stuff going
visual
on with my
entrainment,
visuals,
a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Brain entrainment. Thank you. I was like, maybe I should entrain more. I lost the words there for a second. Jesus. Turn those lights up, man. But yeah, like, so it's like, I don't know, like for me nowadays, the optimizations are getting more fine grain. Like they're not so macro anymore, right? Like I can meditate. I love meditation, right? I do it literally every day. And I don't necessarily think that I'm going to, unless I want to become a monk, I think I've gone down the optimization path as far as I'm going to really go on the meditation side. I can try to meditate more religiously, more intentionally, I guess. But
you see, the thing is here, this is where, again, another fascinating facet for people to know and for you guys to perhaps try out and experiment with, is that the compounding impact of prana or chi or life force, or we call it electromagnetic, through the brain, the impact, the compounding effect, you cannot understand the impact on your life, your physiology, and the impact you have on the environment until you've been doing this and getting the compound effects of it over a period of 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. Because in the science of yoga is so interesting because it's about transcendence. It's about opening up all your powers, your chakras, your cosmological powers that you have latent, dormant within you. And you use the life force to rouse the serpent power from your spine to then take its journey up through the energy centers or chakras to the crown of the head, which is illumination, as you know. So this whole thing about, energy, sleep, consciousness is a journey. It's a personal journey that everyone has with, call it God, call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. Everyone has a personal relationship with consciousness and energy. Everyone. And it's very personal. It's as personal as you want it to be, or as impersonal as you want it to be. And that's the power of choice that you have.
And I think the last part about that I would reflect on, though, is that power needs to be realized. And what I think it is it's got to be realized in bite-sized chunks. So you have to kind of keep playing with this stuff until you kind of get that chunk that you're like, there's the next. Yeah. That's the next piece. I can
the kind of working at it, as opposed to, certainly we hear stories of people becoming instantly enlightened and stuff like that. But I think it's more of this weird kind of arcing up and down journey for most people. Like, oh, I screwed that up. No, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back on the course now.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it's, that compounding impact, I have to say, it's like when you have, and you've heard the book, read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, right?
Yeah.
Interesting concept, atomic habits, because we're all creatures of habit. And atoms, if you think of these atoms as like small circles or orbs of energy, right? What happens with the breath is when you keep using it, it's like a dynamo. It keeps charging up. At a certain point, it builds a critical mass of amazing energy that can smash through all kinds of obstructions, difficulties, health issues, life issues, relationship issues, money issues, whatever issues you have. You can build up so much power from the compound impact or generation of energy that you become like, you can't even recognize yourself. Like, you don't care to have a name and a form. You're like a huge orb of power and light and energy that can just, and keep going. There's no end to it. There's no end to your expansion. So I think.
So when people are working with you along those lines, when people are working with you, is this something that people usually come to you in sort of an acute requirement phase where they're like, there's something that's got to change tomorrow?
Is there something driving them to you other than curiosity?
Yeah, it's usually, well, first of all, the first portals are usually stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, or insomnia.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that's where we get into, okay, you want to solve that. Now, do you want to help, improve your relationship? How far do you want to go with your health? How far do you want to go with your ambitions, your goals, your potential, your finances? Or what do you want to do in life? Now, let's look at the bigger picture. Of course, not everyone's ready for that. But if they are, man, I love that, because I love thinking big. I love thinking global. I love thinking cosmological and helping a person fulfill their ultimate potential, whatever that is.
Interesting. So like when people are working with you, is it sort of like a come in weekly, come in once a year? Like, I mean, I know it's probably different for everybody, but generally speaking, what are we, I'm just curious how people use it.
The
expectations,
Yeah, I mean, normally stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, sleep disorders, ADHD, these are common things that we see. So they come in and they take our program, which is available. Can I mention the site?
Yeah, of course. We're going to get there. We're going to get to the commercial
part.
To
the commercial part where we like list where to find you and everything. So yeah, you can start letting that stuff go.
The 3-3 Insomnia Hack or the 3-3 Sleep Method online. You can find that, and it walks you through the process. People buy the program, they go through it, and then they usually say, okay, well, I like this. I got a lot of value from it. Can you help me with the next level of personal transformation? Can I do some deep dive coaching? I've got this problem. I've got that problem. I've had it for this long. Haven't really had much success. Can you help me get a handle? So that's where we do bespoke, tailor-made packages, more personalized, more deep down. You get a lot of
that sounds right.
And you get a lot of high net worth individuals who are very rich, wealthy monetarily, but they're not necessarily got the peace of mind. Like Dan Martell says, everybody has seen Dan Martell's material. He says you get lots of millionaires or billionaires who want to be a Buddhist, but no Buddhists who want to be a billionaire. Because
very true.
Right?
Yeah,
so I think
that's funny.
Finding that peace of mind and that peace and that deep joy and bliss within yourself first. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. I think that's probably the wisest way still to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Raj, I could literally talk to you about this forever, but people gotta kind of go on with their lives here, and we usually fall off right around now.
Right around this time.
So let's make it official. Tell us all about where to find you and everything like that. In socials, the whole 9 yards, our AI. I'll pick it all up and we'll put it on the show page.
Absolutely.
And love to send people your way.
33insomniahack.com is the main site for the stress reduction and the sleep modality that we teach and that we're promoting. There's 800 million to 1 billion people globally with this problem. So yeah, it's huge. So we want to help people, wean off the meds, whether it's the Zopiclone or the melatonin or whatever it is. Get them weaned off the meds. Don't get too involved with too many psychiatric tests or tests with doctors. Try to, you don't need to overcomplicate it, and try to feel it within yourself first and realize this is it. If people are not shown this is how you should feel, they don't know what they're looking for. They don't know how it feels or how it looks like. So we teach all of that to make sure they know, look, you are fine and complete within yourself. You've never been introduced to it. I'm going to show you, right? And if you don't feel good, if it's not working, you get your money back. We're not concerned about that. We want to help people first and foremost. And they come back. Wow, I don't believe it. You helped me sleep within 30 to 90 seconds, and I was struggling with insomnia for 4 or 5 or 10 years. I can't believe it. I said, the only reason why we're able to do it and others are not, because we leverage the brain hormones and electromagnetism to get a quick leveraged effect, whereas everyone else is struggling.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that, and I can't wait to pry into this a little bit more, because I think there is a ton. I mean, you said you're in tech as well, or you like tech. I mean, I've been in tech my whole life, and these people don't sleep. This is a pandemic problem in the tech community.
Yeah, if we get together, Matt, Tom, myself, if we put something together for these guys, I'm telling you, this is going to be revolutionary, and I'm not kidding.
I mean, I see the benefit for a lot of people here. So
yeah, I'm
definitely
So, Raj, listen, man, I appreciate you. I really love this conversation. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tom, what I keep hearing is reality is redundant, man. It's like, how many times do we have to hear the same?
I'm just trying to get out of it myself.
Yeah, well, it's funny. We hear the same things over and over again. It's like, how many times, Raj, does the universe have to beat you over the face with something before you're like, all right, maybe I should take this seriously?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, gents, have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Raj.
Thanks again. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Take it.
Be subversive, irreverent.
Health is wealth, but you knew that.
Everybody knows that.
But so is following us on social media at Irreverent Health. And check out our website for more exclusive content at irreverenthealth.com.
Oh, I like this.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Irreverent Health.